This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Well, here's a story about a school teacher. Can you guess what it's about? Can you guess what it entails? Oh, there's tail. Hers! A married elementary school teacher has been charged with sexual misconduct after she allegedly admitted to having sex with a 16-year-old boy inside a pickup truck. Yeah, that's right. This child was not one of her students unless they met originally while he was, and then later on reconnected. And yeah, anyway, Mackenzie Naughty. She's 25 years old, was arrested at her home in St. John, Washington State on Sunday after her husband Garrett is said to have uncovered her affair. Was it his truck? Yeah. The mother of one had sex with the boy, the student, not her, in the early hours of May 3rd. The teenager, whose family is reportedly friends with the Knots, had been messaging the first grade teacher and her husband on Snapchat. Huh. Well, I mean, they're family friends and stuff, but still. After Garrett fell asleep, he and Naughty continued messaging. He told police the 25-year-old was being flirty and tried to get him to meet her. He agreed and picked her up from her street at around 2:15 a.m. The boy told Whitman County Sheriff's deputies. Naughty asked him to take her to a little spot where they could hang out, so he drove her to Harwood Hill, a nearby agricultural area and rural road. The pair talked for a while, but then Naughty kissed him and started to get handsy. They then had sex inside his vehicle and in the truck bed. Well, here she is. Yeah. Giggle. Tee-hee. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Well, the teenager dropped Naughty back at her home around 4 a.m. Garrett, 24, reported the affair to police after the boy confessed to him about it in a voice call and over Snapchat. All kinds of stuff happens on Snapchat. You know, where it's all supposed to just go away. But it never does it? Garrett told police he has the teenager on the app because he knows him and his family well. He is also the assistant track coach at the boys' high school. Naughty was arrested after the child and his mother met authorities at the Whitman County Sheriff's Office. She initially denied having sex with the boy, but later confirmed his story. She told police she knew him from community events and said they had previously hung out in group settings. She then went on to say that she knew he was only 16, but claimed he felt like one of their friends. Naughty apologized, said she knew sleeping with the boy was wrong, and told police she asked him not to tell anyone about what happened. Well, she made her first court appearance and was jailed in lieu of $10,000 bond on a charge of first-degree sexual conduct with a minor. Well, yeah, booger rings, you know. The age of consent in Washington is 16. And investigators have not yet clarified how old the alleged victim was when the attack was said to have taken place. Naughty had been teaching first grade, oh good Lord, at St. John Elementary School since September. Well, the district has placed her on leave, teacher union rules and stuff. Once she's convicted, well, but then what if she isn't? I mean, if the age comes up, it was age of consent. Was there any drugs or alcohol involved? Anyway, at this time, St. John School District is aware of allegations involving a district employee that are currently being reviewed by law enforcement. District Superintendent Tina Strong said in a strong statement, the employee has been placed on leave and will not be on campus during this process. The district is cooperating fully with the appropriate authorities and will also be conducting its own investigation into the allegations. Strong doubled down on her commitment to the safety, well-being, and support of our students and school community. Yeah. We understand situations like this can create concern, questions, and emotions throughout a small community, and we ask that everyone approach this matter with care and respect while the appropriate process unfolds. We also expect staff to continue maintaining the highest level of professionalism during this time. The alleged victim is reportedly a junior at neighboring St. John Endicott High School. So I'm assuming by the superintendent's statement here that, showing respect and approaching this with care applies to the victim and the families involved here. And by victims, I think, is both, of course, the boy and this woman's husband, But if this is just, the process, and if the court finds, the kid was 16, so then, hey, come on back to work, there needs to be a vetting process for this to some degree. And when something like this happens, shouldn't that result in termination anyway? Yeah. Oh, well, because wouldn't the parents of the kids at the schools be like, I don't want this slut teaching my kids, stuff like that, So, I don't know. But do you think the booger ring was a giveaway? Hey, look, you do you, but I don't know. Is it? Oh, well. I'm sure everyone will figure this out in due course, with care and respect. This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Doug, fun fact. Thongs never ride up because they're already up there.
This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Well, here's a story about a school teacher. Can you guess what it's about? Can you guess what it entails? Oh, there's...
money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street while killers be killing and killing and killing? Nailsin News. 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 News.
There, I should be here. You know, on screen. All right. Once again, Nailsin News. That was a little tease from a previous show. But now these will be brand new. And you know, all that kind of fun stuff. Horrible crimes, terrible people, and all kinds of things like that. All of the great entertainment one can expect to have in an episode of Nailsin News. Well, that's right. There we go. That's a nice little tint of color. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look what we have up here. First, well, justice has been served to a nasty group that I think is a nasty group. Good Lord. This is odd. How is it doing that? Wow. That is weird. I wonder how it's doing. I'm looking at something that's bizarre. Oh, well, wait. It probably should be seen on the screen. Anyway, let me get it to the story. Oh, yeah, the template. There we go. All right. We'll get to it. No. Antifa terrorist sentenced to 50 to 100 years in prison for attack on Texas ICE detention center. Well, here's the lucky contestants, you know, all ready to go to enjoy their stay at the prison facility. Yeah. I don't know. This one doesn't look too happy about it. The rest, well, he looks pissed. The others, okay, he's a little sad. Her's like, really? And she's like, her too. Really? And her, I guess they're all like, really? This one's sad. This one, it's like, well, you know, whatever. This one doesn't quite understand what happened. Anyway, 8 of the 10 Antifa members convicted of terrorism charges for an attack on a Texas ICE detention center were sentenced to at least 50 years in prison. The Antifa ringleader, Benjamin Song, is that an alias, was sentenced to 100 years in prison. 8 people who were found guilty of terrorism-related charges earlier this year for a Duty 5 attack on an ICE detention facility in Alvarado, Texas, learned their punishments. One member of the group, identified as the group's leader, was sentenced to a century. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas said that sentencing for the defendants would happen Tuesday morning. The verdicts were handed down in March as the defendants were accused in the July 4th Duty 5 plot targeting the Prairie Land ICE Detention Center following weeks of testimony from investigators, law enforcement, and cooperating witnesses. Benjamin Song was hit with the longest prison sentence, 100 years behind bars. Marcella Ruda was sentenced to 70 years in prison. Autumn Hill was sentenced to 50 years, along with Zachary Evans, Savannah Batten, Megan Morris, and Elizabeth Soto. Daniel Rolando Sanchez Estrada was sentenced to 30 years in prison. I guess he did the least of the group, you know. Prosecutors said that the group launched a premeditated terror attack on the detention center facility inspired by Antifa ideology by setting off fireworks, vandalizing property, and shooting at police officers who responded. So they lured them out, you know, and shot at them. One officer was struck in the neck with a bullet, then survived. Yeah, he's like, well, he lived. Did he? Yeah. No, the attempt was to commit murder. So they should serve the sentences they're getting. So the jury found 9 Antifa members guilty of terrorism charges on the attack. And there's the names of the idiots. The defendants were found guilty on riot charges, providing material support to terrorists, conspiracy to use and carry an explosive, and using and carrying an explosive, 3 counts of attempted murder of an officer, 3 counts of discharging a firearm during a violent crime, corruptly concealing a document, and conspiracy to conceal documents. This verdict shows the FBI remains committed to identifying, locating, and dismantling Antifa. Well, it's about damn time, you know? Yeah, because Kash Patel's in charge. So anyway, Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization that has been allowed to flourish in Democrat-led cities. Not under President Trump. So there you go. They got busted. So, simple. You know, you go over there. Yeah, it's really just dumb luck you didn't kill and seriously injure more people, you know. I don't know the full state of the officer they shot in the neck. Hopefully he made a full recovery. But, yeah, this is the type of punishment people should serve. Just because they didn't achieve their goal to commit mass murder, that doesn't mean they get off light, you know. So, I wonder what the other coverage is like. Well, we can take a look. Oh, yes. Yes, we can. So, coverage over the thing is Washington Post says, breaking news, federal judge in Texas gave 8 members of an alleged quote-unquote Antifa cell, really, prison sentence as long as 100 years for the rose last summer in a protest that turned violent outside an ICE facility. So that's probably as good as you're going to get. At least they admitted it turned violent. I mean, the protest, and they brought weapons to it, you know. So, but it was a protest. So here's the people rallying for them. Blaze free, you know, all the idiots. And then Mother Jones. Well, what do you expect? 8 protesters who the DOJ accused of having connections to Antifa. They always do this. They act like Antifa just suddenly doesn't exist while always praising it. Yeah. So this is a show trial. BBC, 8 people with alleged ties, see, almost just like Mother Jones, collectively sentenced to 450 years. Oh, dear God. The federal government rounded up 18 activists, according to the New Republic, tied to an anti-ICE protest. Yeah, they were that's their First Amendment right to protest, you know, claiming they were part of an Antifa cell. And it's the first big test of Trump's crackdown on free speech. No, it's a crackdown on attempted mass murder. That's what it's a crackdown on. So, CBS says leader of group convicted in Antifa-inspired attack on Texas ICE facility handed, 100 years. So they just said group. At least they didn't pretty it up and say, these young activists and protesters. Yeah. So there we go. That's the coverage you can expect on what is obviously basic justice for a group of idiots who thought it would be really noble of them to commit mass murder. Fortunately, they failed. And now they've got a place to stay for the rest of their lives. I guess, I don't know how old the guy is who is going to get 30 years. So, I mean, if he's in his 30s, he'll be 60-something when he gets out. So, yeah. I mean, it's something. The others, who cares, you know? You wanted to kill. And he said, hey, most of them brought fireworks and stuff. Those can be lethal. Plus, it's all about the noise and distraction and stuff, so the police can't properly defend themselves. You can disorient them. And if you get close enough to them and they're all disoriented from whistles and horns and all kinds of racket, yeah, you can steal their weapon. See, what's the point of that? Murder. That's the point of that. Murder. So, good riddance. But it's an interesting little look at how media sees, you know, their protocol, I suppose, to the ordeal, and the coverage of all this type of crap. So anyway, that's it for those idiots. We'll move on to other characters who have their own stories to tell. Except I'll be the one telling it, relaying it. Yeah. By the way, the show is brought to you by Super Tip. That's right. So you can, show some support for your old pal, Mr Nailsin. That's right. If I can find the... There we go. And where's the other thing? Boy, I got so much crap in here. It really weighs everything down, but I don't know. No, not that one. I just think all the stuff is and it looks and I tend to want to use it from time to time. So I just keep it there. Maybe I shouldn't. Anyway, there's my news story. Here's my screen. Now I have to go, and then we'll get right to it. Man went to McDonald's after running over and killing woman in front of her husband while they were out house hunting. An Arizona man robbed a woman, then ran her over with his Lexus in front of her husband, killing the 66-year-old after pretending to find a key he claimed he dropped at a grocery store. Ali Akami, 23, went to McDonald's after the June 20th slaying and attempted to use the victim's credit cards to buy fast food for himself and two juveniles. So this was all to get a free lunch. Man, police say the woman was run over in front of a house in Glendale that she and her husband were about to tour to potentially buy it. Hakami allegedly pulled up as they were... So he's... I thought he stole their car. Fast food. Ran him over with his... Oh, no, his Lexus. All right. He just wanted her credit card to buy some McDonald's. Weird. Anyway, they were preparing to get out of their car and lured the woman to his vehicle with the dropped key story. The driver and sole occupant of the maroon Lexus, Hakimi, told the victim that he had seen them at Fry's and that they dropped a key. The victim exited her vehicle from the front passenger seat and approached the front passenger seat of the maroon Lexus being driven by the suspect. Police say there was a language barrier as the victim and her husband speak Cantonese. The woman lifted her purse to look at her keys, and that's allegedly when Hakimi lunged at her and grabbed the handbag. They struggled over retention of the purse. The Hakimi sped away in his vehicle while clutching the woman's bag. The victim was holding on to the purse when the suspect fled, causing her to be dragged under the rear wheels of the vehicle. After Hakimi's arrest, a prosecutor said in court that the suspect ran over the elderly female victim in front of her husband from head to toe. There were tire marks on her head, the prosecutor reportedly said. Well, Hakimi, whatever the hell, was later tracked down by police at a McDonald's, where he was seen attempting to buy food. Surveillance footage allegedly shows him using an ordering kiosk and attempting to pay with the victim's credit or debit card. The card was declined, so Hakimi went back to his Lexus and went through the drive-thru. According to the police, citing statements made by the juveniles who were with him. Authorities detained Hakimi after he purchased food with cash, so it was all for nothing. He claimed during interviews that he was kidnapped earlier in the day by an unidentified male who asked him for a ride to a gas station. While driving to the gas station, the unknown male subject pulled out a knife and showed Ali a gun. Ali was then stripped naked and zip-tied with his wrists and ankles bound before being placed in the trunk. Hakimi alleged that while in the trunk, he heard his kidnapper rob and run over the 66-year-old victim. The woman said, "Stop, stop, stop," in English before Ali heard the vehicle run over the woman. The vehicle sped away and came to a stop in a dirt alley near the McDonald's. Hakimi allegedly told police that his kidnapper cut him with a knife before letting him go and gave him his clothing back. He said he was scared because the man threatened him, so he did not call the police. Ali instead located his two juvenile friends who were walking to get food and gave them a ride to McDonald's. Per Ali, the juvenile's parents gave them a credit card to go get food. This was the credit card he attempted to use at the McDonald's. Hakimi allegedly maintained that he neither ran over nor robbed the woman. Investigators located property belonging to the victim inside his vehicle, including her purse, credit cards, cell phone, and a necklace. While Hakimi did have a cut on his hand that he claimed came from his kidnapper, police contacted his family, and his own mother informed investigators that Hakimi had cut his hand the day prior when a mirror broke. Investigators also allegedly found evidence, including surveillance and ring footage, linking Hakimi to another robbery of a woman he followed home from a bank. Police say he saw her withdrawing $5,000 in cash and then took her purse. The defendant is an extreme danger to the community, the local prosecutor said in court about Hakimi. He engaged in a string of robberies, two at least, where he preyed upon elderly victims. Hakimi is charged with first-degree murder and robbery in connection with the two alleged attacks. So I gather they didn't buy the story that there was a mysterious kidnapper who just decided, you know what? I'm going to kidnap this guy, strip him naked, tie him up, and throw him in the trunk, and then go commit a robbery to get, a credit card out of some old lady. And, I ran her over, so I decided to just forget the whole thing and cut him loose and then gave him his clothes back. He forgot to put the detail in there. The plan would only work if the guy said, "Wow, this Hakimi guy looks just like me." He'd be a perfect dupe, and I could put all the blame on him. Maybe that was it. Yeah. So that's why whatever witnesses like the woman's husband said, "Yeah, that's the guy." Said, "No, some guy who looked like me. He was a kidnapper, and he runs around framing people who look like him so that he could steal a debit card for McDonald's." Well, I guess the original kidnapper was not after McDonald's. He says the juveniles, McDonald's was their idea. He just, after that ordeal of having been kidnapped and, oh my God, what the hell was that all about? Then he runs into these kids and says, "Hey, we're hungry. We want to go to McDonald's." And he's like, "Yeah, all right. You know what? I'm kind of hungry myself." Because, being stripped naked, tied up, and thrown in a trunk, you do develop an appetite. Yeah. Well, I guess that didn't hold up. So I don't know if he's going to go with that defense when he goes to trial. But seeing as how they charged him and everything, well, they clearly don't believe it. They really don't. So I'm guessing he was the one. It's probably a good guess. That's what I'm thinking. All right. Now I have 3 stories here concerning guys with dreadlocks. It's a popular hairdo, and they all have it. So we'll get through those. The dreadlock crew. Do they now dread the crimes they've committed? Maybe. I don't know. Man on snack break at Walmart goes on deadly stabbing spree after getting rejected by a woman. Targeted colleagues aboard work bus. Okay, well, boy, he's just having a bad day all around. So anyway, a charter bus stabbing spree unfolded at a Walmart in Alabama, with a man allegedly targeting multiple colleagues, killing one in a knife attack after he was rejected by a female co-worker. Pierre Askew, 35, of Louisiana, damn it, one of our own, was on a snack break at a Walmart in Bessemer when a brewing beef between him and a 22-year-old colleague, Daryl Sutton, turned deadly aboard their work bus. Bessemer Police Sergeant C. Selman told Fox affiliate WBRZ said that Askew and Sutton had been in a dispute for several hours, possibly days, over a female co-worker who rejected Askew after he made romantic advances toward her. So I'm guessing Sutton won out. You know, she'd rather Sutton. And she eschewed Askew. The two security guards were headed back to Louisiana. They're security guards. They were headed back to Louisiana with about 40 colleagues after working at Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival in Manchester, Tennessee. All right. Their bus stopped at Walmart for a snack break. Oh, it was making me think they were Walmart employees. Okay. So the bus stopped at Walmart for a snack break when Askew, looking askew at Sutton, allegedly pulled out a knife and stabbed Sutton to death and injured 3 others. At approximately 1:13 p.m., Bessemer police officers and Bessemer Fire Department personnel responded to reports of a disturbance on the bus, to say the least. Upon arrival, officers discovered that 4 individuals had suffered stab wounds during an altercation. One victim sustained critical injuries and was transported to UAB Hospital in Birmingham for treatment. The remaining victims also received medical treatment. Police later updated the Facebook post to report that Sutton had succumbed to his injuries. The condition of the other victims was not clear. Well, stab wounds. They've got stab wounds. The company that Askew and Sutton were working for, Fest Security, declined to comment when contacted by Alabama.com, I guess, AL.com. The other colleagues were picked up by a second bus and brought back to Louisiana. Well, I'm fine with Askew not coming back to Louisiana after that sort of thing, you know. All over a girl who said, yeah, not interested. So I guess he thought, well, if I could get rid of Sutton, then she'd have to choose me. I don't think he was thinking this through. Yeah, sounds like Askew is quite the knothead. So anyway, that's unfortunate, but at least he's not coming back here, you know. I don't need any of that crap. God, they went all the way to this. Oh, yeah, because they were security working for that. I guess so. I don't know. That makes sense. So anyway, there you go. 2 guys chasing the same girl. She picked one. The other guy lost it and thought, well, I'll kill the other guy. And, you know, it doesn't really work that way. I guess in the wild it does, you know. But, yeah, she's not likely to date. But wouldn't that be something? Later on, she decides, well, now I'm really into him. She visits him in prison, marries him and all that sort of stuff. And then, boy, if that's the way it goes, and he's like, see, it worked. Probably not, though. Probably not. Dun, 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 dun. Well, that's our first dreadlock contestant. But now there's another one. I wonder what he did. I don't know. Let's find out. Man pointed gun at nurses taking a break outside the hospital and warned them not to take another step. So I guess if they just stood there, they were okay? I don't know. A Michigan man allegedly threatened to shoot nurses who were taking a break outside the hospital where they worked. Walter Dwight Smith, 31, is in custody at the Macomb County Jail after police said he threatened to shoot 3 nurses while he was on the phone with someone. Okay. Did someone say, I dare you to point your gun at those nurses? Oh, yeah? And he did. Now look at him. Well, anyway, Smith was walking around Henry Ford Hospital in Warren, Michigan after midnight on June 3rd. Smith was reportedly agitated while having a conversation with someone on his phone when he walked past the hospital's emergency room ambulance bay, where 3 nurses were taking a break outside. Macomb Daily reported that Smith arrived at the Detroit Federal Probation Office on June 2nd for a random drug and alcohol test. He reportedly admitted to drinking alcohol days earlier, which was a violation of his probation in connection with previous charges, and was released. Hours later, he was reportedly outside the Henry Ford Hospital emergency room and having a heated conversation with an unknown person. According to police, 3 nurses were taking a break outside the hospital at a table around 1 a.m. on June 3rd. When Smith walked past them, the nurses told police that Smith was pacing and getting agitated on the phone during an argument. As the tone of the call escalated, Smith allegedly approached the nurses at their break table. Police said as Smith got closer to the nurses, he began yelling at the other person on the phone. "You think I'm fucking playing? I got 3 nurses here. I can shoot." Huh? Smith allegedly started counting down from 6 and produced a black handgun. The nurses told police that Smith pointed the gun at them and told them, "If you take another step, I will shoot you." Smith then apparently got another call on his phone and left the scene on foot. Oh, so, someone else called in and he hung up the first call and talked to that one. And that changed his whole mood and stuff, and he was like on to something else and forgot all about the nurses. Well, anyway, after Smith left, one of the nurses called 911. Officers from the Warren Police Department located Smith later the same day and arrested him. Smith was charged with 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon, carrying a concealed weapon, weapon possession by a prohibited person, brandishing a weapon in public, driving without a valid license, and 3 counts of felony firearm in connection with the June 3rd incident. Well, he remains in custody at the Macomb County Jail, where he's being held on $500,000 bond. Well, he's being held on a retainer by the U.S. Marshals in the event that he posts bond. Yeah, he probably won't, though. So I don't see how this helped him at all. I mean, he was already upset, I'm guessing, by the drug test that didn't go his way. And so he decides to threaten some nurses because they were there. And then he gets another call and forgets all about that and leaves. Sounds like that's how it unfolded. And now he's in jail, probably going to prison for a significant amount of time. So I just don't see how that works out for him, other than, he gets a place to stay, for a while. All right, well, on to the next man of the dreadlock crew. That's right. Man walks into Target and randomly picks out a woman to strangle by the checkout counter, choking her until she was almost dead before setting upon other shoppers. Damn. A California man walked into a Target and randomly picked out a woman to attack by the checkout counter, choking her until she was almost dead before going to the other shoppers. Rajon Tabor had just gotten out of jail. Okay. You already see the problem, Less than 48 hours before heading to the Simi Valley Target on June 17th to unleash an attack on a female customer who was standing at a checkout counter. Tabor had entered the store and immediately began choking the victim. The store's loss prevention officer, as well as several bystanders, attempted to help the female victim, at which point the male subject began attacking those attempting to assist, which included a juvenile. So some kid tried to help too. Cell phone video captured inside the Target shows Tabor allegedly attacking and fighting with a number of good Samaritans who tried to stop him, including Andy Garb. Well, Andy says, "We ran over and we just see one lady on the guy's back and then him just choking out another lady," Garb recounted. "He had the most bloodshot demon eyes I've ever seen. He was definitely on something. Well, he's probably possessed and or a zombie, or both. Yeah, and or. Anyway, Garb's 15-year-old son captured the rampage on video, with one female bystander saying on camera, he was choking her. She was almost dead. Well, Garb told KCBS, KCBS, imagine someone being behind you, choking you out, and she was even saying she was trying to scream rather than scream, I guess. I don't know. Tabor allegedly entered the Target around 6 p.m. and sat upon the choking victim. He then wandered over to the produce section and attacked a 16-year-old boy. The teen had his back turned to him and had no idea, Garb said. As the violent assaults were occurring, Target employees began an emergency evacuation of the store before police arrived at the scene. Officers immediately entered the store and located Tabor, who had now begun throwing items in the grocery section, where he was taken into custody without incident. Yeah. The guys with guns show up, and you're like, okay, I'll give up. You know? Several customers, including the 16-year-old, sustained minor injuries and were treated and released at the scene. The woman who Tabor allegedly choked was transported by family to a local hospital, where she is currently in stable condition. It was later discovered that the initial female victim did not know Tabor. Police arrested and booked Tabor at Ventura County Main Jail on charges of attempted murder, burglary, assault, battery, and cruelty, or unjustifiable pain to a minor. Unjustified, okay. Several people, including police, said the original victim could have died from being choked out if we didn't show up there in time. So according to KCBS, Tabor has been released from custody less than 2 days before, after being arrested in March for indecent exposure and assaulting an officer. He is currently on probation for that arrest. Well, I imagine he violated that probation with this nonsense. I could try to play this. I don't know. Come on. Show me. All right, I don't want to see the news report. I just want to see the attack here, if it'll do it.
Video as a woman is attacked in a Target store.
Are you okay?
It happened Wednesday evening in Simi Valley. Within a matter of seconds, other shoppers got involved.
He was choking her.
Oh my gosh.
She was almost dead. I don't know who's that guy.
This woman came to help first, but was quickly thrown off the attacker. And that's when two men jumped in and fists started flying.
We ran over to the actual incident, and we just see one lady on the guy's back, and then him just choking out another lady.
Andy Garby is in the blue shirt. He didn't hesitate
Garby.
to get
Sorry,
involved.
Andy.
He looked homeless. He had like the most bloodshot demon eyes I've ever seen. He was definitely on something.
Behind the camera, Garby's 15-year-old son, who started rolling and protecting his 4-year-old sister.
Imagine someone being behind you, choking you out. And she was even saying that she was trying to scream and no one was coming over.
Police say the attacker entered the store around 6. The suspect, identified as Rajion Tabor, was thrown to the ground and arrested. Police say he had been released from custody on Tuesday after being arrested back in March for indecent exposure and assaulting an officer.
Yeah, all right. So that's it for that idiot. So, but couldn't he have just been kept in custody, you know? Yeah. So surely now he's not going to get probation again. He's already violated the probation he was put on. Now he nearly murdered a woman. Surely now he'll be behind bars for some amount of time, but probably not very long. Probably not. So anyway, there you go. That's it for that idiot. And well, I say good riddance. I'm like, he's probably going to get out fairly soon, you know? Oh, well, what you going to do? What you going to do? Well, you know what you can do, but Will they? Only time will tell. All right. Now, how about this hairdo? Jeez. Oh, man. Talk about your receding hairlines. Walmart cashier hid lottery ticket. Man, why can't I read? Walmart cashier hid winning lottery ticket from elderly customer. Well, hair transplants are expensive, so she saw her chance. Thought, damn. A Florida woman lost her job at Walmart after police said she kept a winning lottery ticket from an elderly customer. Tamika Hall, 40, was charged with grand theft after deputies from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office said she intentionally kept a winning lottery ticket from its rightful owner. The store manager of a Walmart in DeLand, Florida, was contacted by an elderly man who bought a lottery ticket and was trying to claim his $2,700 cash prize at the store. Police said Hall verified the man's ticket was a winner, but then she pocketed the ticket instead of giving it back. Hall told the man, after confirming his $2,700 cash prize, that the amount was too large for the store to provide. He would have to bring the ticket and the receipt to another location, she allegedly told him. Hall handed the man a receipt for the ticket, which included the instructions he needed to claim his cash prize. But police said Hall was caught on on-store cameras putting the winning ticket in the pocket of her Walmart employee vest. After the man left the store, Hall told police that she realized she did not return the ticket to the man, but wanted to help another customer who came in after he was gone. She told police that she ended her workday with the ticket still in her pocket. See, it was all an accident, misunderstanding. Police said the man realized later the same day that his winning ticket was not among the paperwork he received, and he returned to the Walmart to retrieve his ticket. He made contact with another Walmart employee, who then informed the store manager, who reviewed the camera footage of the interaction between Hall and the lottery winner. Hall was seen providing the man instructions and a receipt for the ticket, but was allegedly captured taking the ticket from the machine that printed it after the man left the store. Hall told police that she still had the ticket, which was found in her car in the Walmart parking lot. She denied that she planned to keep the ticket for herself and deprive the man of his winnings. See, she just forgot. The winning lottery ticket was held as evidence. So, Volusia County Sheriff's Office update on the status on the lottery tickets. They gave an update on the status of the lottery ticket, winner's ticket, and whether he has been able to collect his prize. The Sheriff's Office did not respond. So, did they pocket the winnings? I don't know. Local CBS affiliate received a confirmation from Walmart that Hall was no longer employed at the company. She was charged with grand theft between $750 and $5,000 and booked into the Volusia County Jail. She posted bond the same day and was released. Update. A spokesperson from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office confirmed to Law and Crime that the lottery winner was able to pick up his ticket. Well, there you go. So a happy ending there. She bonded out, but she still has her massive receding hairline. And she won't have the winnings to do anything about it, I guess. Maybe that's the deal. I don't know. Do you? It all could have just been an accident. She slipped it in there. She gave him the paperwork with the instructions of this is where you go to collect the winnings. You know, hey, we can handle $100 or so, but not that. And he's like, oh, well, all right then. And here you go, blah, 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 blah. Have a nice day. And then he's walking up and he says, hey, where's my ticket? Yeah. And it just so happened to be in the pocket of her Walmart apron. you know, and then somehow slipped out and ended up in her car somewhere. These things happen. I guess they didn't buy that story. It's a better story than the earlier one with the guy saying he didn't commit the robbery. He was kidnapped by the actual robber who just happened to look just like him. Something like that. Now, but still, I don't think this story's going to work out for her. Not at all. No. But, well, I think she really wanted hair plugs, you know, and, I mean, that's a massive thing. Probably from, like, putting straightener in it and stuff, and it, like, burned her scalp, I'm guessing. And that's why it's just gone. Odds are she doesn't have a bald spot in the back, you know. It's usually how the pattern goes. All right. Not familiar with this story. It does sound familiar. I don't think I've done it before, but we're going to get the final report. Final report on fatal bear attack released. All right. So the final investigative report into the mauling of a Florida man by a black bear provides harrowing new details of last year's fatal attack on the 89-year-old victim. The gruesome killing of Robert Markle by a 257-pound predatory black bear is detailed in witness statements, evidence, and necropsy photos, and incident reports compiled by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Following the recent closing of the state probe, agency records were released to the Smoking Gun in response to a public records request. The incident, what Florida wildlife officials said, was the first fatal black bear attack in the state's histoire. Really? All right. Markle was set upon at a 4-acre family compound in the Collier County community, adjacent to Big Cypress National Preserve, a sprawling freshwater swamp in southern Florida. The property contained 3 mobile homes arranged in a semicircle in a common area across from the residences. The land, according to investigators, exists within a unique ecosystem of rare flora, fauna, and wildlife. Unfortunately, part of that wildlife is black bears. Markle, who was 6'1", 6 feet 1 inch tall, and weighed only 100 pounds, lived in a 28 by 8 single wide Jayco travel trailer that had seen better days. On its elevated attached porch was a worn couch, grill, shop vac, and an aluminum walker. On the night of May 4th, the May 4th bear attack, Markle, who family members called Paw Paw, was sitting outside in a folding lawn chair at the front end of his RV smoking 305 cigarette. Here comes the bear. Around 7:30 p.m., Markle's 66-year-old daughter walked the 50 feet between their trailers and handed him his evening medication. It was their nightly routine. Sue Story, so her name is Sue Story, told investigators and her father usually took his pills with dinner. Inside Markle's trailer, leftover baked beans from lunch were atop the stove, and the TV was blaring, which was common due to the octogenarian's hearing impairment. After saying goodnight, Story returned to her trailer, expecting Markle to soon do the same, as it was close to sunset. When questioned by the Florida wildlife people, personnel, Story was adamant her father would never be outside after dark because he was afraid of bears. Around 7 a.m. the following day, Story was taking trash to the curb when she heard her dog Lola barking. She looked back to see a bear dashing from the woods and pouncing on the 20-pound miniature pinscher. In response to Story's screams for help, a relative ran outside and threw a vehicle battery at the bears. Struck by the battery, the bear retreated into the woods, leaving behind the canine, who had succumbed to her injuries. After her dog was attacked, Story went to check on her father. The home's front door was open, but Markle was not inside the trailer, which appeared to have been ransacked, as seen in an evidence photo. A set of bear claws had torn into the screen door. Panicked, relatives called 911 and reported Paw Paw missing. According to dispatch logs, family members said they can't find their grandpa from the camper, and the camper is torn all apart. Then an update. They just found Grandpa's pants and shirt in the woods. Okay. According to an initial Florida wildlife assessment, Markle was believed to be sleeping in residence when the bear attacked. In the spring, since natural food sources are generally limited and predatory attacks on livestock are more common, Florida wildlife guys concluded it was highly possible the man may have been attacked by a bear. Following a blood trail, it did not take investigators long to locate Markle's body under a forest canopy. In a thick cypress strand about 475 feet from the trailer, Florida agents located a cache site containing the victim's remains. Markle's body had largely been covered with dirt and leaf litter, a common practice of predators seeking to hide prey from rivals or scavengers, or was concealing the crime. This action is consistent with black bear behavior, as they prefer to feed in seclusion and often drag large prey to concealment, where they sometimes cache the remains of larger carcasses. Markle's body was bent in half, and its condition was consistent with predation by a black bear, as the skin was torn from his flesh. Oh my God. And the bear fed heavily on the face, neck, chest, groin, and arms. The discovery of Markle's remains triggered a forensic investigation at the same time. Florida wildlife officials hunted for the black bear in short order. One bear was captured in a trap near the family compound and later euthanized. That means they killed it. 2 other bears were euthanized by gunshot by a Florida wildlife lieutenant who fired an AR-10 rifle from a forestry stand. Necropsies identified bear number 2 as responsible for Markle's death. So it took 3 of them they had to get rid of, but they got the right one, you know. The 15-year-old animal's stomach contained hair, human remains, plastic, cigarette butts, and grapes. The extensive probe into the fatal attack, analyzing everything from arterial spray to paw prints to bear scat, oh, that's nice, disproved the family's initial report that Grandpa was asleep at the time of the attack. Investigators determined that while Markle was outside smoking, the bear climbed unnoticed onto the porch, which was attached to the broadside of the trailer. Possibly habituated to the blaring TV, bear number 2 was not deterred by the loud noises as he used his paws to rip open the front screen door. Gee, so there's, the front porch thing, and the bear just went on through there. Only feet away, but hard of hearing, Markle did not alert to the bear, ransacking his trailer and knocking over and eating his bean dinner, leaving paw prints throughout the house as he searched for sustenance. Well, he got the beans. I guess that wasn't enough. Upon departing the trailer, the bear walked towards the property's common area, appearing suddenly to Robert, who sat in his chair lighting a cigarette. Startled Markle triggered the bear's predatory attack response as he attempted to stand and run. The bear, investigators concluded, then delivered a powerful blow or bite to the neck, killing him. Yeah, well, they always say remain very still, I mean, they're assuming he got up and tried to run away. What if he just sat there and said, oh, crap, and the bear still killed him, Anyway, the bear dragged Markle's body to the cache site, a small upland hammock with closed canopy that provided enough safety and concealment to feed in isolation. In order to minimize bear-human interaction and maximize public safety, state officials noted that it was illegal in Florida to feed or approach the animals. Well, In addition to securing food, garbage, and recycling, citizens were advised to report bear activity to your neighbors and the Florida Wildlife Club. I don't know, I forget what the C stands for. Bear sightings were a regular occurrence at the family compound. In fact, early on the morning Markle was discovered missing, his granddaughter, Cheyenne, heard branches snapping in the woods, but did not see anything. In a written statement, the teenager told investigators she didn't think much of it because the bear is usually out, so I got in my car and went to school. Another family member told of bears being at their house nearly every night, including a big male around 400 pounds who was bullying and chasing off other bears in the area. Well, that's too bad he didn't chase off them. But then again, he's probably just as deadly. I don't know. He added that a bear had been on his front porch the night before. Additionally, reinforced garbage cans on the site all contained claw marks and gouges. Yeah, you should have been reporting this a lot sooner. Your whole area is being invaded by, monsters. Despite these worrisome encounters, the FWC summer report noted that its in-house database showed only one bear-related call for service in the vicinity of the compound during the 2 years preceding the fatal 2025 bear attack. That call, however, did not involve a lurking predator. Instead, FWC was alerted to a dead bear. Oh, jeez. On the shoulder of State Road 29, a 2-lane highway adjacent to the property where Robert Markle spent the final years of his life. Yeah. So there's a powerful lesson here, isn't there? Yeah. When you've got bears messing around your property, you need to call the authorities. At the very least shoot it yourself, because you're not going to win a fist fight with a bear. Yeah, you're not. So anyway, that's a really sad story there. Geez Louise. You're just minding your own business, and all of a sudden, a bear breaks into your house. Well, let's move on to simpler stories that aren't so devastating, but still pretty nasty. Woman says she got herpes from Arby's food. An Arby's worker in Oklahoma has been charged with spitting in the food of a customer. An alleged contamination that the female victim says resulted in her contracting oral herpes. Okay. So in late March, Jenica Church, 38, placed an order at the restaurant in Broken Bow, a city in the state's southeastern corner. Church, a bartender who had just gotten off work that Saturday evening, waited in the drive-thru line for her four for $10 sandwich meal. Investigators charged that while Church's order was being prepared, worker Amanda Hendricks, 38, spit in the food. Arby's surveillance video, an officer reported, showed Hendricks removing meat from the slicer, which she lifts to neck level and leans her head down, and you can see the saliva leave her mouth and go into the sandwich. Hendricks then continues making the other 3 sandwiches and sending out the order. Church ate one of the sandwiches and shared the remaining food with relatives. After consuming the Arby's grub, Church says she developed symptoms of an oral herpes infection, including painful lesions, cold sores. In a civil lawsuit, Church states that she has tested positive for herpes simplex virus type 1. Suspecting that her food may have been contaminated, Church contacted cops, telling officers that rumors were spreading in town that Hendricks had been bragging about spitting in her food. After serving a search warrant on Arby's for surveillance tapes, investigators sought to question Hendricks. After agreeing to an interview at police headquarters, Hendricks called to say She could not come in due to not having transportation. While explaining her no-show, Hendricks referred to the police obtaining the Arby's footage and reportedly told an officer that she was not going to waste my time. Yes, she did it. Hendricks was subsequently charged with poisoning food and or medicine with intent to injure, a felony. Her rap sheet includes convictions for narcotics possession, credit card fraud, receiving stolen property, and driving under the influence. So you're supposed to do the background check before you hire people. I guess they don't. I don't know. In Church's June 16th lawsuit against Hendricks and Arby's, Hendricks ain't got nothing. You're going to have to sue Arby's. She alleged that Hendricks was allowed to work in the restaurant despite having an active herpes outbreak with visible lesions. As a result, Church now lives in constant fear of transmitting herpes to her husband and 2 minor children. Well, I'm not really seeing the lesions in this. Oh, wait. I think, maybe right there. The upper lip. Yeah. Well, good Lord. So, nothing in the story that says she knows this woman, So, I don't know. Is she just doing this all the time? How many other people? And they thought, it was bound to happen sooner or later because, they don't realize, no, it was Arby's, But so she 4 sandwiches, and the lady doing the order, she got the sandwich. I mean, what are the odds? Even if she did know this one just doesn't particularly like her or whatever. And I'm assuming she brought the other sandwiches to her family so the kids could have gotten it. What a psychotic bitch, But she already had that rap sheet, and you hired her to work. Yeah. You feel like getting some Arby's, though? Damn it. Or, what was the husband thinking? What the hell? No. And then, the footage comes back and he's like, oh, shit, it's true. Well, all right then. Yeah. Possibly. But, okay, she's caught, but damn. Jeez. What a disgusting piece of shizness. Oh, my God. Oh. Okay. All right. Final story. Yes, the final story. For tonight. Nurse charged with felony for pickleball rage. During a post-game dispute between pickleball players, a Florida woman repeatedly struck a male victim in the head with her paddle, leaving him bloodied and with an injury to his face. This, according to the investigators who have charged the alleged assailant with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. The May 31st incident occurred at the Pickleball courts in Treaty Park in St. Augustine, a city about 40 miles from Jacksonville, and has resulted in the filing of a felony case against Michelle Bannister, a 47-year-old nurse. Well, according to court records, during one doubles game that Sunday, a dispute arose between players about the retrieval of a ball. Upon completion of the match, Ron Banat, 50, went to speak with the defendant's son regarding critique of his playing style. Banat, a Treaty Park regular, is a devoted pickleball player and a member of the Facebook St. Augustine Pickleball group. Police say that during the course of the beef between Banat and her son, Bannister interjected herself into the argument and then struck the victim in the head several times with a pickleball paddle, leaving injury to his face that caused several cuts and a large amount of blood. When cops responded to the pickleball courts, Bannister allegedly provided them with a fake name, Ayanna Lee, or Lay. Bannister is a licensed nurse practitioner who lives 2 miles from Treaty Park in a home she purchased in 2019 for $228,000. When questioned by police, Bannister claimed she was defending her son. However, officers reported there didn't appear, based on victim and witness statements, to be an imminent threat to life, limb, or propensity of violence about to occur. Bannister has a master's degree from the University of Alabama and, prior to her nursing career, served in the Marine Corps as a helicopter mechanic. An online bio describes her as an active mom who participates in many sports and activities with her children and lists her favorite pursuits as traveling, hiking, and playing beach volleyball and pickleball. After being arrested earlier this month, Bannister was named in a June 11th felony information, charging her with aggravated battery and providing cops with a false name. Free on $8,000 bond, Bannister is going to go to trial and all that. Boy, did she just flush her career down the toilet, you know. Good Lord, all that background, which is very impressive, you know. And now this, and already using a false name and all that crap. She knew, oh boy, did you screw up. The only thing she can say, hey, look, I thought he got in an argument with my son, and I don't know. I went into mama bear mode, and I lost it. You know, yeah, okay, but you're going to do some time, and you're going to have to pay the victim. She might not do time. She might, get probation. That might happen, but she's going to pay this guy some injuries here, and then be unemployed. Certainly unemployed in the profession that she appears to have put a lot of work in to achieve, and now it's all gone. All gone. It can happen so simply, Yeah, you look, since there's no witness to say, yeah, he was really yelling at this kid. It was scary for a minute. Then she probably could get off in a situation like that, but apparently, nothing. Well, what you gonna do? I don't know. I just don't know. Well, you're gonna try her, and she's gonna be punished for what you did. And the biggest punish probably is her career's over. Yeah, all that work. All right, let's see. A little bit of chat here I'll read through. Stealth Chaos Live said, send A. Thompson the link. I can't send out links through this Rumble Studio platform. So, wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know why they have it set up like this. The other one I could, that they have where you do it through the browser, that I could send a link to. Yes, it just means I'd have to use EVMux or that one. But then I wouldn't be able to play the voice tips through that one. It's all kinds of messed up, I don't have any to play anyway, so, lost again. But, as A. Tom says, I have the link, Stealth. Really? How did you do that? See, I don't even know how to do it. Anyway, Beef McPeas pudding. Never forget, Jake Hudson once ate a turd for money. That is true. I didn't know he got paid for it, though. But, yeah, I didn't even know that story. Patrick Melton told me that story, and I'm like, what? And then we looked it up, and sure enough. Ew. I mean, I know the guy's messed up, but come on. A. Thompson, never forget Jake report channels all damn day. He reports channels all day? Well, what are you going to do? A. Thompson, not leaf litter. Well, I mean, that's what it said. I don't know. Frankfurt, Stealth, are you here? A. Thompson, Stealth on Uncle Jack. A. Thompson, Doug, how are the cows doing? They're fine. Serenity now. Y'all cowards want to smoke crack? Hey, look, what you guys do amongst yourselves, that's your business. but I do not endorse this sort of behavior. Hey, Thompson, I've always wanted to try. Well, there you go. St. Ranger, I only smoke Pat Mr. Crack guy. Started summer of 1969. St. Ranger says, howdy, Doug. Howdy, St. Ranger. Thank you for interacting with your chat audience. Yeah, well, it's there. All right, there we go. There's your this week's edition of Nailsin News. And my voice almost lasted. It's starting to crack up as we speak, which is kind of bad because I got some other stuff I need to record. Probably got to take a little break, drink tea, which I already am, in this cup that St. Ranger gave me. Yeah, he sent me this. Thanks, St. Ranger. The Yeti. I do recommend. That's good tea. So anyway, there we go. We're all caught up on all the goodness that is Nailsin News, which I couldn't really call goodness because those are god-awful stories. That poor guy eaten by a bear, just dragged out of his house. He ate the man's beans. And then what an ad. Well, that bear got what he deserved when they blew him away, What is like some kind of animal, Anyway, the one pun morning, Doug. Well, morning one pun, but I'm afraid this concludes the program. And you can always rewind it and watch it then, oh yeah, I hit record. So that means I already got this recorded. Well, if I find the time, I can cut it up into separate things. Yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. God, so much stuff to do. And for what? For what? Oh, God, I forgot. Damn it. What an idiot. Okay, here's the link to the Nailsin comics. You can check those out there at your leisure. But let me take a look at this for you, the people. I always should do the advertisement for the sponsors of the program. So here we are at indieplanet.com/Douglas-Nailsin. And oh boy, look what you get. Well, there's Doodleverse Comics #1, Etc. Woman, Night Night, based on my audio plays of the same name, from the Mr. Nailsin Show podcast on RadioMisfits.com or wherever you get your podcast. So there's Night Night #1, Night Night #2, Night Night #3. Oh boy, look at all the Night Night you can get. And then Sun King #1. Gotta get that second one out soon. And the fourth one for Night Night. Yeah, I really need to get on that. What the hell have I been doing? Working? That's what I've been doing. Anyway, #2 comes up with a backup story of Night Night's early years. #3 has part 2 of that, all that good stuff. Sun King has the backup story of Bubba Stargon. And all of these are characters from my audio plays featured on the podcast of the Mr. Nailsin Show. Yeah. So anyway, there's that one, Meanwhile, over at this link that I will now put in the shot. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Oh, wait, are you seeing all that? Yeah, you are. Damn it. Oh, that's embarrassing. I forgot about that. Anyway, so here it is, Doodleverse Comics #2. I'm still trying to figure out how to get it on the other store, but this one turned out all right. I mean, it had to have this border, so I kind of messed up there, but it works, So anyway, there you go. Here's the little preview. You get over there and, look, it's like opening the pages. Isn't that cool? So you see the interior cover and the first page, and there's Karmic as a doctor and stuff. I do stuff like that. There's a whole parody of the Alien movies featuring Dabbleverse characters in it and all that. There's the guy from Stone. He's being brainwashed while he claims he wasn't. Here's some, there's quite a few Chad comics in there. There he is looking for Mersh. There he is. His girlfriend was all upset and they broke up over that business of him stalking Mersh. And then Patrick Melton teases Chad Zumock with a laser pointer. So he's basically the proverbial cat, mesmerized by it. And Melton gets a kick out of it. And then there's a gallery of my doodles that I do usually while at work. And these are all people who really do exist. I've met them all. Yeah. Yeah, I hope she's feeling better. Boy, was she sick that night. But she made it to the bathroom, so it's okay. I don't know what party she was going to, but good Lord, was she something to behold. Yeah, she sure was. Haven't seen her since, though. That's too bad. But anyway, there we go. That's all that good stuff. And that'll do it for this edition of, the Nailsin News Show. So hopefully, if all goes well, I should be able to do a show with Pat, and we'll talk about the movie it's the horror. Yeah, The Horror at 37,000 Feet, starring William Shatner with Chuck Connors and Buddy Ebsen. Yeah, it should be fun. So hopefully we'll do that. If we can't do it for some reason, I'll probably, I don't know, do something. Draw pictures. Or not, I don't know. What if I'm like collapsing into depression over not getting any super tips? That could be. Wampum Stompa 69. Damn Yogi, not gonna be happy about this. Oh. About the show? The comic books? No, come on. There's nothing but happiness in those comics. Guaranteed. Order yours today. Don't delay. There you go. See, as simple as that. It truly is. All right. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll visit again soon. Well, and that should, it should just be dandy, I would think. It will be. It will be. All right. Now all I got to do is find my theme song. That's the only way, the proper way to end the show. It just is. I think so. And I do. Good night.
Killers, killing and killing and killing and killing. Nailsin News. Where all the money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street? While killers be killing and killing and killing and killing. Nailsin News. Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street while killers be killing and killing and killing and killing? Nailsin News.
Ew! Nasty!
It's not what it looks like.
Ew! Nasty!
It's not what it